Ask everyone to rate their looks on a scale of 1 to 10. Can't pick 7. Starting with you. Go ahead.
5.
Into the mics, guys.
My own looks?
Yeah, looks.
10.
Okay.
I don't know, 8.
Sure, I would have to say 10.
Yeah, 10. I self-love.
6. Like a 5.5.
I'll say 5.
6.5.
Give myself a 5. Andrew.
4.
4. So we've got 10, 8.
Why do all the women
10,
laugh at that?
10.
Like, what? Am I way more attractive than I think I am? You should just look at me then and be like, Andrew, you're so handsome. It's ridiculous. Like, we just can't even control ourselves. Why else would they laugh? Is it less? Should it be a 3? Like, what am I getting wrong here?
Wait, can I ask a
At least
question?
a 6, Andrew.
Yeah.
Wait, why do people rate themselves less than a 10? Like, I'm curious
Yeah.
as to why you guys think you're not.
That's a good question.
There's
So,
room for improvement. So,
Yeah,
God
so what
made
we're
you
trying to
perfect.
ascertain is whether or not you think you're perfect.
You don't need any improvement
No,
at
it's
all.
not
Well, actually, Andrew, we're trying to ascertain if you're delusional.
Yeah, but that would be the claim of perfection.
Sure.
So anybody who would claim that they were perfect would be delusional.
Oh, you're
right?
saying 10
This
is
would
you're saying
inside
10
of-
is perfect?
Yeah, so when we're rating a scale of 1 to 10, 10 is the max, right?
Yeah.
Physically.
So can
she said
yeah,
looks.
perfect, physically perfect. Can anything be above a 10?
Word perfect. I didn't say
Can,
the word
can
perfect
anything
is
be
too.
okay? Well, then hang on. Just follow my logic. Can anything in the scale of 1 to 10 be higher than 10?
No.
No,
So
but nobody said
right,
perfect.
So, yeah. So if 10 is the highest, that means that you're counting yourself among the elite, least percentile on planet Earth. I don't even know if there's a 10 which exists, but if there was, you're claiming that that is you. The most
no,
beautiful
I didn't
of the
see the question
beautiful
in
of
that
the
way.
beautiful.
I didn't see the question that way. I think everything is imperfect. So the word perfect to me doesn't stand in that question of physically 10. I think that everyone at this table is absolutely beautiful. So I would rate everyone here 10, including myself.
Let's. I think that's fair. So let's back up and kind of address
Because
the claim.
I don't believe
Again,
in
that's
perfection.
a good argument. Hang
You're
on.
using the word perfection as in that's 10.
You
10 is
know what?
perfection because that's your perception. That's
Now
not
I
my
understand
perception.
what. I get it. Now I understand what you mean by perfect. And I understand that you're also yielding to a God you consider only God to be perfect, right?
Yeah.
Is that correct? That's your standard of perfection, right?
Yes.
Both of you?
Yes.
I mean,
I can't
both,
take it seriously. I don't
both
Guys,
one.
into the mics, please.
Yes.
Okay, so if you're only considering God perfect, that's fine, okay? Though I don't know how you would be able to ascertain the physical beauty of God, we will still assume that under your worldview, the physical beauty of God is a 10 along with every
I think
other
myself,
characteristic.
including everyone else, is not
because that is perfection.
perfectly physical. No.
Okay, I get it. But what I'm saying to you is that in this scale, we're only talking about physical characteristics. 10 being the highest possible, so let me reframe.
Yeah, 10. I think everyone's a 10 up in here.
Stop and let me finish. Let me reframe the question so that you understand it better, understanding your paradigm. If 1,000 men, random, meaning, again, I can't emphasize this enough, random. In fact, repeat back the word random so I know that you know what I mean. Because I've asked this question a million times, I just need to know you know it. Yeah, random, okay. So 1,000 random men, they're at a fair, and you're in a beauty contest, and they bring you up. And they say, okay, guys, you can go from 1 to 10 on her beauty, okay? And the average of what all of you determine her beauty to be is what we'll go with. So this guy raises 2, this guy raises 4, this guy raises 7, this guy raises 10. What do you think the average, the collective of all 1,000 of the men would put you numerically?
We're going to start with you, and then we're going to ask you 4. Go ahead.
Who, me?
Yeah.
What I think that they would think of me.
Did you hear what he was saying?
He said, yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of a hard question to answer.
Okay, so you answered 10.
Yeah.
So in the scenario that he gave you, what do you think they would give you? The 1,000 random men. On average.
I want to say I want to say 10. Shit.
Wow. Okay.
care,
All right.
it's
What about you? You said 8. What would the 1,000 men give you?
Average, I don't know, maybe 7. Because I don't know. This is difficult because beauty is in the eye of the beholder, so.
That's why we have 1,000 beholders, and we're asking you to average what you think they'd say.
But I don't know their perception on beauty. If they like Western beauty, if they like blonde, blue
They like
hair.
Western beauty.
I'm not Western beauty.
Yeah, great. So anyway, they like Western beauty.
So then I wouldn't be I wouldn't
Into
apply
the
to
mic.
this. I wouldn't apply to this scenario because if people like Western beauty, that's blonde hair, blue eyes, lighter skin. I'm the opposite of that.
Okay, fine. They value Eastern
know.
beauty.
But she would be a
I'd
10.
still be a 10. I view myself
It
as
just
a 10.
depends on what you
Self-love. I
love.
don't know.
Yeah,
I know that you view yourself as a 10. My question is not how
they be
you
10.
would
I
be
don't know.
attracted to her just as much as she's attracted to herself.
what's my, hang on. I just want you to repeat for me. What's my actual question to you? Can you repeat it for me?
The question that you're asking is if there's 1,000 men, what is the average of what is the rate that they're going to give you on average based off of the 1,000 men that are looking at you in the beauty pageant?
Yes.
Am I
Can you
taking?
answer
Is that
my question?
correct? That's correct. Right?
Yeah,
They're gonna rate you a 10.
So answer the question. for the both of
Like
you.
she said, depending on where we are, like if I'm in
Okay, you're out
Middle
east.
East,
For
or
the
if I'm
love
in,
of God, give a number.
You're in east. You're as east as you can go, or as central east, wherever the
No,
fuck
'cause
you
this
want. I don't
matters.
care.
That's why I'm like,
Whatever
it
you
has
think
to
it'll be.
Okay, yeah, if it was in my side of where I was raised, where I was blood born, then yeah, I would be a 10. But if I was in
You'd be a
America,
10 where?
where I was blood.
Where were you born?
Where's that?
Well, I'm Egyptian. We're full blood Egyptian.
You think it'd be a 10 in Egypt?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I already know that.
All right. And so then,
So all 1,000 men would hold up a sign saying
Yes,
10.
yes, 100%.
Oh, okay.
and then.
And now I just want you to look at me and say, Andrew, I just want these words. Can you look right in the camera? Just look at the camera. Whatever camera's the closest to you, look right at it and say,
Right here.
Andrew, I'm not delusional.
This camera.
Every man in Egypt would say I'm a 10.
I wouldn't. No, I'm not saying that because
Every
that's not.
man.
See, your words are very manipulative. You just said
Oh, no, they're
1,000.
not. If it's a
then you just
1,000 out
said,
of 1,000,
every man.
you could.
But yeah, I
you
would
could
think that I would love
never have
to
a
think.
sample size higher than 1,000
I would
out
love
of
to
1,000
think that
saying
I would
something.
love to think that every man in Egypt finds me beautiful. Yes, I would love to think that. That is
Well,
my opinion
my question
on
isn't what
myself.
you'd like to think. My question is what you actually think.
your
That is
question
what I
isn't-
think.
your question
What
isn't
I like to
even-
think is what I think.
It's not even valid.
It's
Like,
about my
we don't
self-love
know-
Why
and how I
isn't my
perceive
question
myself.
valid?
Because how are we supposed to know what other men think? I'm a woman. I don't have the mind
Well,
of a
I'm
man.
not.
I don't
I'm not
know.
asking you to know what
You
they
are
think.
asking me. You're asking me to. How would they judge me? How am I supposed to know?
Yeah, I'm just asking what you think they would guess.
I don't know. Whatever they guess. Like, you know what I mean?
Okay.
It's an invalid
Okay.
question.
I'll take
It's
a
an
crack.
invalid question. Okay, hang on. I got it. It's an invalid question. If a bird hit that window doing 1,000 miles an hour, what do you think would happen?
They would die.
Oh, wait. Suddenly, when it comes to a hypothetical, you can, even though it hasn't happened, you don't know exactly
get
what would
injured.
happen. You can somehow make a guess as to what would happen. But in this case, your brain, it's empty. You have no idea what they'd ever say.
You're hurting my brain.
Yeah, I'm sure. And every Egyptian man would agree with me.
No, they wouldn't.
I don't even think we should grant this,
No, they wouldn't.
this geographical move. You guys currently reside in the United States, so what would men,
In the United
a
States.
cross section of men,
I
who
think
live
I
in
would
the
be,
United
and I
States?
think I would be at 8 to 9. 9. I would say 9 in my.
9. Okay,
Yeah,
what about
9
you?
for me.
You
Yeah,
guys
I
are
would say the
twins,
same.
so
I would say the same
okay, yeah.
answer. Yeah.
9. Okay. So still 10, 9, 9. Somebody gonna tell him? Somebody tell him? Madison, you want to tell him? Morgan, you want to tell him?
So it would actually, I just want to let you know that what you're saying is that you think 1,000 out of 1,000 men would essentially vote 9 or 10 or 8 for every single one of you to the point that you would average out to a 9 or a 10.
Yeah.
This
I think
would
that
put
everyone
you
in
at
this
the
table-
highest, hang on, this would put you at the highest beauty standards of the entirety of planet Earth, the highest possible beauty standards. So that you
Yeah.
understand what that means,
Yes.
every single woman who has come on this podcast has given a similar answer to that, which means that either A, Brian Atlas only books the most beautiful women in the world
True.
to come on whatever,
Hottest chicks.
or the more likely possibility For instance, if I were to ask you this question, you two twins in the back, and I'll let you both answer. If you right now had to make a gamble, had to make a gamble, and if you were wrong on the gamble, you instantly drop dead. That was the consequence of the gamble.
Fine.
If you had to either gamble, A, that Brian Atlas brings the most beautiful women on the podcast ever,
That's true.
or B, that the women who mostly come on the podcast are delusional when it comes to self-ratings, which way would you gamble?
I would not gamble because it's haram, first of all.
Yeah, I know, but you
You're
had
asking me
to.
the wrong. You're asking
If
you're asking the wrong person.
If
So
you
I'm sorry.
had to.
Yeah, I know.
I can't.
know,
It's against my
but
religion.
Hey, you know what's not haram?
Yeah.
A hypothetical. So engage in the
Yeah,
hypothetical.
I'm so sorry.
Okay, I just don't understand why do you want us to look at ourselves lower?
No.
Yeah, I know.
Hold
Just answer the
on.
question.
Why?
Hold on.
I don't get
You can't
that.
weasel answer his question.
I just don't understand.
I'm more than happy to be humbled by saying I'm a 1. I would say that I could be a 1. I'd be
Yeah, I
happy
know.
with that
Can you
answer.
answer my question?
Yeah, answer the actual question.
Wait, what was the question?
The question is, if you had to gamble and the stakes were your life, would you either gamble A, that Brian Atlas brings the most beautiful women in the world on his podcast and fills the entire podcast with them, or B, that most of the women who come on the podcast are delusional
A.
when it comes to their
A.
self-rating?
A,
Hang on.
because-
Hang
yeah,
on.
A.
You didn't even hear the second part of the
know, the
question.
Yeah, I heard. I
Or you'll
remembered.
die,
Or you will
something like
How can
die.
you answer before you even heard the
Because I
second
know the
part
answer.
of the
That
question?
I know the answer. It's not delusion. You shouldn't feel like a woman who self-love or whatever thinks that
think
everyone
they're
here is beautiful is delusional. That's self-hate.
That's not what it is.
trying to spread hate.
The
What is it?
question
Then
is
what
not
is it?
whether or not you shouldn't have a high estimate or a high estimate of your own looks. The question is diverting to the gaze of males and whether or not men would judge you the same way you judge yourself.
That question is
Hang
invalid.
on. Your answer is yes, they would. And so my question becomes, if that is so, and every single woman who comes on this podcast gives a similar answer, then that would be conceding that Brian Atlas just has the most
Yes.
beautiful women on his podcast.
Yes, and then that audience would agree by placebo effect. Placebo effect. Because when everyone is like, oh wow, like
It's a
I'm so
placebo
beautiful,
effect.
And a
they think that they're very
placebo
beautiful up in here. Like all the people
Do
here.
you
that-
realize that the
Favorite kind of
placebo
gazebo.
effect would indicate that you
Gazebo
were
effect.
wrong? The placebo
wouldn't.
effect is saying there is no actual consequence here, but it's make-believe and all in your head.
heads, yes,
The placebo
that's what I'm
effect
saying.
is a delusion. Do you realize that?
He got you.
Wait, what?
He's right.
The placebo effect is a delusion.
Yeah.
But that's not what I feel like he was trying
you
to
say
say.
it's
No,
not
I'm saying
delusional.
the people watching. I didn't say the women. I said it's the placebo effect on the
Oh, you
people.
said- you
You're
said
not
women.
listening to my goddamn statement. You're just sitting
Oh,
up here
come on.
talking
You
so
said the
damn much. You're
women,
not
it
even
would be the
listening.
placebo effect.
I just said there's a placebo effect on the audience, not the people
Women
on here.
themselves.
You're just
Oh, it's not the.
you're
it's not,
delusional.
So
You're delusional.
So so do you think that the women, all of the women who come on the whatever podcast, just happen to be the most beautiful women in the whole world, or do you think that they might have a slightly higher estimation of themselves than the general public would?
I would like to see a woman be self-confident in herself, and I would
What does
not
it have
like
to do with confidence?
because
Not
it,
question.
because
Because how are
view
you going to
yourself.
say that
You look in
they
the
are
mirror,
naturally attractive? That's on your
You look in the
opinion.
mirror and you
That's
think
your
you're a one?
opinion.
Like, no.
Based on how you were raised, based off of your programming is telling me that I am beautiful to you off of 1 to 10. Why do I give a damn? I don't. So why would
Well, you
I
don't,
think
but
in
that's
the
not the
way of a
question.
man? I'm
Yeah.
not going
Yeah,
to think
I
in a
know.
way
Can
of a
you answer
man.
the question?
That's why the question is not. It's like
Nobody
it's just
gives
to
a shit
debunk
about the
because
diatribes.
we
Just
are
answer
not
the
men.
question.
How will we know
No,
that?
yeah, we
So
don't
we can
know.
only give our estimated guess based off ourselves, based off of a woman's standpoint.
think
All
of
right, hang
myself.
on. I get it now. Due to the fact that leprechauns and unicorns mate in the sky and there's rainbows underneath Skittles on top of hills which exist within ants who are chocolate covered, leflipidoos are often green.
Well, I'm just
Can
going
you
based
answer the
off of my
fucking
life
question I
experience,
asked?
to be
Or are you
honest.
going to keep obfuscating into shit that I don't care about? My question is, does Brian Atlas bring on the most beautiful women in the world?
Yes, I already said the
Or,
answer.
alternatively, do they have a higher estimation of themselves than they actually believe that they do? That's my question.
Number one.
Answer the question.
Number one, I answered it. I circled it 3 times.
No,
A.
you didn't. What you did was you said
tilt
that
your mic
unicorns
down.
live underground with gophers, and sometimes they wear green hats.
Well,
Nobody
you're
gives a
just
shit. Answer
delusional,
the
so that's why
question.
you're mad that you want me to join your delusional.
Answer the
I
question.
did.
You didn't. Saying that you answered the question doesn't mean you answered it. It just means that you're full of shit. Answer the question.
I'm full of shit.
Wait, Andrew, isn't a component of the question under threat of death? So,
Yes.
like, they would die, basically. Okay.
No, what's going on is they actually haven't answered the question. They've gone out of their way to do everything but answer it. So I'm going to ask one more time. This time, just
You don't
give
have
me
to.
the
You know what?
direct-
I'll just give you what you
I
want.
just want.
I'm gonna give
okay,
you what
yeah,
you
yeah,
want.
Give me the direct question.
We are saying what we think is our higher self, whatever you want to say. That's my answer.
What? And if your higher self were to not map onto reality, but you thought it would have a better effect.
Well, I do
on
think I'm a
society-
10, so
hang
why
on,
should I
hang
say
on,
that I'm
stop.
not?
Let me ask the question. If you were to think that whatever the higher self of people was, even if it was a lie, but it had a better effect, would you still recommend that people go with their higher self?
Yes.
Then
Why
you
wouldn't
have
would
just
you?
stated
Would
that
you?
there's no reason
Would you?
to ever believe you when you say your higher self, ever.
Would you? Would you go with your lower self or your higher self?
I would go with reality.
Which is what?
Which is what?
Reality
do
would
women
be
rate you?
some type of, in this particular case, inside the context of the question, the objective reality
What do
of
you rate me?
If I were to take, stop, I'm answering the question. If I were to take 1,000 women and they were to all rate me based on Western standards of beauty, I think that collectively they would come up with something pretty close to a
Can we
4.
rate you?
Sure, go ahead.
Wait, can it be a table thing? Because I don't want to be the only one.
Sure, go ahead.
Oh, here you go. Should we start?
And you know what I'll do?
You get to
Let
go
me see what
first.
I
happens
would
if I
say,
average
I would
this.
really say that you're like a 7. Like you're giving like Prince vibes. Like you
I
just
would
grew
say you're a
up.
liar, but no, just physical beauty.
Yeah,
Physical
I'm
beauty.
talking about physical beauty.
Only.
Like, you look like a 7. You look like
You've
you're
never heard me say a
you
word.
look like you
I'm
were like
just
a former
walking around.
prince, like somebody that used to be a prince back when he was younger.
Yeah.
Like you're a
Okay.
7. Yeah.
7.
I feel the same way.
Yeah.
Into the mics, guys.
I feel the
7.
same way. I feel like you have a lot of features that make a prince,
did.
and when I watch certain things, I call certain men a prince. I feel like you would be a prince. I don't know how
European beauty.
old
You know what?
are right
Rate
now,
Brian
but I can
instead. Do
see-
that.
I
Let's
can
see if we get closer to a 5 with Brian. I did not realize that I was regal and walked around with a robe
You're
and had a
Aladdin.
nice scepter. I did not realize that I was princely
look what that
material.
did.
But perhaps Brian
Self-confidence.
is more peasant material. Let's
It's
try
that
Brian
luscious hair
instead.
and that beard. Come on now.
Exactly. That's
you.
exactly what I mean. Like in your eyes.
It's a 7. It
I
is
think
that.
you have blue eyes. Are
I
your
mean,
eyes blue or am I tripping?
Look at you smiling. Now you're
No,
an
my
8.
eyes-
Stop
my
it,
eyes are blue,
Andrew.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I mean.
All right.
Brian's eyes are also blue, just so you know.
Why are you deflecting? Just accept. Just accept the compliments. You're a 7. Just take it.
Do you know, hang on, you do realize that after hearing so many self-delusional answers from you, all of you, there's no actual way for me to believe that any type of fluffing up of the ego, which you are currently attempting in order to obfuscate from questions, means that it is in any way based in the reality of what you actually think. It can't be so, because when I ask you what you think of yourselves, the answers are clearly so fucking delusional, I don't believe you believe it.